Brazil put in its NDC, that we would welcome if there was this kind of discussion and that Brazil would participate in that. I think this is the key basis on which President Lula is talking about that. But as we all know, this is not this is not an agenda item, or this is not at the moment anything that was raised during the COP. But President Lula very clearly put this subject at the center of his concerns regarding COP30, because it is something that we have an agreement inside Brazil and we put that in our NDC. Com relação à tua pergunta, o Túlio vai responder.
Obrigado pela pergunta em relação às consultas à presidência. A Índia está muito comprometida, engajada no processo, apresentando suas preocupações em relação a lacunas de financiamento público de países desenvolvidos e em desenvolvimento, de uma forma muito clara, de uma forma assertiva, mas ao mesmo tempo de uma forma absolutamente construtiva, incluindo, apresentando soluções de uma maneira interativa com outros parceiros entre os países desenvolvidos. Então, também esse engajamento, que também reflete um momento da nossa relação bilateral altamente auspicioso, é algo que inspira muito.
We'll take the next question here from gentleman in the front, right over here. Yeah, please.
Hi, Ivan Couron of AFP. Do we understand that you're going to have good news to share at the plenary?
This afternoon.
And we'll take another question. And go over to our friend over there on the second row. Yeah, over there. No, sorry. To the right, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Anna from UOL. I just wanted to clarify what you're planning to do with the finance issue. Lilian mentioned that we have an item, if I get it right, it's finance consistent with development of new carbon economies. And then Túlio mentioned that 9.1 was one of the items under the consultancies of the presidency. So what you're planning to have this discussion on finance without making another fight that's probably blocking the development of these negotiations?
So if I could answer both questions, because they are very related. This is a very complex process in which we had parties, especially on Sunday when we were finalizing the agenda in our consultations, parties very far from one another. What we are seeing is a movement in which they are getting closer, and they are getting closer by combining one position with the other. We need, naturally, more time. The good news is of cautious optimism, but most importantly, the good news is about the changing dynamics. We have been having, especially due to geopolitical difficulties, quite a divided house for a long time. What we are seeing now is a healthy dialogue that we haven't seen in a long time. This is already very good news. In terms of how can we deliver expectations, we need much more time, we need more conversations, we need this dynamic of building on one another to continue, including in terms of finance. We have 9.1, which is about the provision of climate finance, whereas the topic that is now under the agenda is on the alignment of international financial flows to low carbon and climate resilient economies. Whereas 9.1 is about provision of climate finance, the alignment of international financial flows is much more related to mainstreaming climate in international finance. And this is also a very important transition, but a transition that even in our conversation will take time. The advantages of presidency consultations is that we are able to guide and serve to health parties in a way in which we are seeing systemically across the board all the issues that are also playing out in the different agendas that Ambassador Liliam just said.
And regarding the good news this afternoon, yes, I hope we can show that the consultations have been extremely constructive and extremely interesting. I hope to bring them. Then we will come back at 6, I believe. Yeah.
We're getting close to time, so we'll go over to two last few questions. One from the lady right in the middle here in the second row.
Yes, thank you. I am Claudia Antunes from Sumaúma. My question is, we've heard that since yesterday, some of the developing countries, the African countries and other groups have proposed to postpone the approval of the DGA. My question is if for this to be approved, you wanted to approve it in the first week. For this to run, you have to have an agreement on the 4 issues that are pending. And also, the European Union mentioned in their press conference today the possibility of a cover decision covering these 4 issues that are being under consultation. And I would like to ask André or Túlio or Liliam, I don't know, these 2 questions about adaptation, if it's being conditioned now on the advancement of the other issues, and the cover decision. Thank you.
And we'll take a question from the gentleman in the second row there. No? Okay, not anymore. So, just over there on the back. No, sorry. Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Exactly there. Yes. Yes, please. From Argentina. Just trying to strike a balance of gender and everything else, local and foreign media. Thank you.
Okay. Thaisa Lara from Infomasonia and Climatica. I would like to follow some of the questions of my colleagues, maybe for Túlio, about the consultations, to maybe have more details. What are the possible options so far of the way forward for these items? And for the ambassador, are you waiting for some more definitions on Article 9.1 consultation in order to confirm the event with the reactions from the party on the roadmap to 1.3 trillion? Thank you.
Claudia Antunes, thank you for your question. The mandate for COP30 is to parties to agree to select up to 100 indicators for the global goal on adaptation. This is mandate for this year, and as presidents of the process, we think that one very concrete way to strengthen multilateralism, to demonstrate that the climate process is advancing, is resilient, is strong, and it continues to be beneficial to parties, is that we fulfill these mandates. So we will do whatever we can we have time, this is day 2 of negotiations. We have until the end of the next week to work on these indicators. And it's also normal in these negotiations to have at the second week the support of ministerial pairs, one from developed countries and one from developing countries. These pairs have been selected. They will be announced to parties very soon. And in case of the indicators for the GGA, we will count with the help of Germany and Kenya to... Oh? Sorry, but Germany is certain to advance this work. The mandate is for this COP. So whoever wants to change that will have to convince 197 countries, because Brazil is intending to fulfill the mandate.
Then perhaps on the question about possible options so far, so what we have been having is a very safe space in the presidency consultations, and that has been the role of the presidency, to ensure that the space is safe for every single delegation, for them not only to share their concerns, their vulnerability, but also to present solutions. And this was an ask that we had for parties not to bring problems, to bring solutions, for parties not to restate positions, but to meet one another with alternatives. And we feel that we have been having that safe discussion. So this is not the moment for options, but rather a moment for different alternatives to be combined. So more than alternative options, a combination of different priorities.
So we have 2 last questions. We go over to the gentleman in the front row here.
I didn't answer about the 9.1 and the 1.3. Just to say that on Saturday we're going to have a session to discuss the roadmap for 1.33.
Okay, President Vladimir from the. It's funny to talk in English with you because we are both Brazilians, but I think it's the way. Okay, since I'm going to go straight to you. Are you optimistic that we are going to finish this COP on day 21? Because last week, people were saying, no, we are going at least until 24. But since we have a closed agenda for the first day, I just ask you, are you optimistic that we are going to close in the day 21? That's it. I mean, you can answer in English, but for us, we are going to translate you. Thank you.
Can you go over to our colleague over here in the first row? Third seat. Yeah, thank you.
I'm Soumya Sarkar from India. My question is on finance. What can the COP process do to ensure that the climate funds, whatever climate funds that are made available to developing economies, do not end up being another debt trap?
So, well, I am hoping that we're going to end on the 21st, okay? We will try hard. And I think that we have some indication. You know, this is a party-driven process, and the parties have been very constructive. We're having really a very good mood among the parties. We've also had very good interaction with the observers. We had very interesting discussions yesterday. So I think that there is a strong indication that everybody that is here wants to show the world that multilateralism works and that we're all together to prove that, and I think we are in the good direction. I just want to say something. Apparently there was like a misunderstanding. The Saturday discussion is about the roadmap to 1.3 trillion. Apparently there were some people that thought it was the first question was about the possible roadmap for the fossil fuels that you mentioned, President Lula mentioned. So the Saturday meeting is about the roadmap that Minister Babayev and I published last week on the Baku to Belém 1.3 trillion roadmap.
Just to complement COP President, we were telling parties that COP30 would open on 10 a.m. on 10th of November and would conclude its work on 6 p.m. on the 21st of November. We already got the first promise. We opened on the 10th at 10:30 a.m., just 30 minutes late. So we are positive and optimistic that we'll be able to conclude on time or very short delay, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the 21st. And also with a full plenary with the observers, the press, and all people who are concerned with climate change in 2025.
And regarding the question of our Indian friend, the finance COP was Baku. And the decision there was taken, but there was that continuation somehow because there was that mandate to have the roadmap. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to debate the roadmap, but we have to remember that the decision is for 300 billion, and this has to be discussed in the context of the COP and among the parties. What we will discuss on Saturday is how can we reach much more than 300, which is what developing countries believe is needed, and I think that most analysts believe is needed. Now, there is no mandate for this COP to debate this, but I think it's very important that we discuss this because this is an expectation of most people. So I think that the space will be somehow the space of the discussion on the roadmap from Baku to Belém on Saturday.
Thanks everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us today. As a reminder, we're having more than one press conference a day. We're gonna try to host another one later today. And beginning today, we'll meet here at 1:15 p.m. and at 6:30 p.m. Where we'll discuss other subjects. If you're following us on the WhatsApp channel, you won't miss anything. We'll stay in touch. Thanks so much. Thanks for your interest.